for you. Scooby Doo, where are you?
Over there!
All the stars are here, waiting for you. Couldn't have a show without you. Scooby, Scooby-Doo, Scooby, Scooby-Doo.
Over here!
Unfortunately, the rest of Team Dankism cannot be here for this review, so I'm just going to have to wing it all by myself. Enjoy. Scooby Doo is a cartoon that most people love for its incredible celebrity guest stars like the Harlem Globetrotters, Batman and Robin, Sherlock Holmes, the Three Stooges, Don Knotts, and Jonathan Winters. But it's also very memorable for the fact that it just gave us some of the best mysteries we've ever seen. You never saw the criminal coming, no matter how obvious they tried to make it look on another criminal, or how many other episodes you've seen. Unless you've seen it before, they always give their best mystery possible. The characters are memorable, the monsters are memorable, the songs are memorable, even the horribly rendered animation is memorable. It's no surprise that through the 50 years of its existence, it's had many incarnations. Some of them without even all of the characters that were previously established. We're going to take a look at one of those incarnations. But first, we need to dive back into a little bit of history. So, after the new Scooby Doo movies, then the series was actually starting to fail financially a little, so they decided to introduce Scrappy Doo, Scooby Doo's little cousin, who, unlike the incredibly timid and hungry Scooby, is much more outgoing, free-spirited, and open to the idea of ghosts as long as he has the right to fight them. Most people think he's an annoying little shit, but personally, I always thought he was kind of cute and funny. We're not talking about the live-action movies. Those can burn in hell, but we'll touch on those in the future. But anyway, my point is that, Scrappy has gotten a bad rep because he represents a time when Fred, Daphne, and Velma were not needed for the success of Scooby-Doo, financially at least. And we're going to look at the first 3 movies of Scooby-Doo that originally did not have them and required Shaggy to wear a red shirt. How did they go through these whole movies without referencing Fred, Daphne, and Velma once? Or even the other mysteries?
To answer that, we need to talk about parallel universes.
These are the Red Shaggy movies. Is the Red Shaggy trilogy. Let's start in order. First is Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers. To summarize the plot, well, have you played Luigi's Mansion? Shaggy's unseen Uncle Beauregard leaves him a mansion on his old plantation. He drives Scooby and Scrappy over to claim heritage despite being warned not to by Sheriff Busby, but all 3 of them are chased inside the mansion by a runaway circus ape from Smurf Valley, the Headless Horseman, and Ghost Beauregard. There they are greeted by the incredibly envious manservant of Notre Dame, Lord Farquaad, who informs them about family jewels hidden inside the mansion. Shaggy wants nothing to do with this rubbish, but his truck starts sinking in quicksand, forcing the trio to spend the night. They fail to sleep and decide to call the Ghostbusters. Unfortunately, they were too busy working on a much better movie to care, so they sent some of their victims to go in their place. It's here we meet the Boo Brothers, a trio of ghost-hunting ghosts so formidable, so recognizable they are only ever appeared in one movie. While the Boo Brothers go to pad out the movie off-screen for the next couple of minutes, Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy spend the rest of the night looking for the family jewels, each with a different riddle leading to the next, as well as being harassed by the ape from earlier, Ghost Uncle, a cape-wearing skeleton, an awkward stripper who keeps hitting on Shaggy, seriously, and Sean. Oh boy. There are so many characters in this movie that it's unbelievable. What's even more unbelievable is how little they accomplish in spite of taking up most of the screen time. And you know what else? The Boo Brothers are the biggest offender of the bunch because they literally just make stupid jokes the whole time. There is only one scene in the whole movie where they actually help the gang find the family jewels and help solve the mystery of who the ghost trying to capture them is. And it's towards the very end. Like, they help them get out of predicaments they're in, but otherwise they're literally just there to make stupid jokes. No wonder this is their only movie. The very scary, legendary Boo Brothers do not catch any ghosts at all in this hour and a half of Hanna-Barbera's washed-up animation leftovers. Heck, Blue Donkey Kong Duck Dynasty's #1 fanboy and Quasi-Mofo actually accomplished more than these losers, and they're also comic relief characters. They exist solely to pad out the running time more than necessary. With such a simple story, this could have easily just been like 40 minutes to an hour long. In short, everyone is comic relief.
Come on, Scooby Doo, I see you. Got a silver.
Now let's talk about the setting. Everything that happens in this movie is either inside the Beauregard mansion or very close outside. This is fine, honestly, because with the scavenger hunt story, it makes sense that they'd be more conservative about the overall setting. However, when it comes to the presentation, there are some things that still bug me. Like the animation. Being that it takes place in the same dark mansion at night the whole time, often revisiting areas we've already seen, there isn't much opportunity to provide creative visuals outside of that, which creates another problem. The mansion is too dark, giving the impression of an attempt to scare the audience, which, while it does happen sometimes, it often clashes with the strongly comedic tone. Like, in the show, the buildings were dark, but their designs were unique and just the right amount of color to stay in sync with the general presentation, which is not here.
You're not here with me, 'cause I can see the way you shake and shimmer.
Oh, and for those of you who watch Scooby Doo, Where Are You? Sadly, there are no pop songs playing during the chase scenes in any of these movies. In reference to Season 1, this is also fine. Besides, the background music they use helps perfectly illustrate the comic relief, strengthening the hilarity of each funny moment.
You know we got a mystery to solve, so Scooby Doo, be ready for your act. Don't hold back.
Scooby Doo Meets the Boo Brothers is a mess. The Boo Brothers themselves could be removed entirely without any plot difference. The settings aren't interesting, Shaggy's Uncle Beauregard is never given any real depth, and none of this will ever be referenced again in the later movies. But the jokes are funny, the plot stays mostly consistent, I like that the villain dresses up as different monsters each time, and the overall premise is intriguing, as well as the closest thing to a normal Scooby-Doo movie that you can get compared to the other two Red Shaggy movies. Overall, I'd say it gets like a 6 out of 10. Worth the watch, but just barely, especially for hilarity and nostalgia. So yeah,